Good day, everyone. My name is Jim McGillivray, and welcome to the Pipe Box, your source for all things piping. Please like this video if you find it interesting, and please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you would like to see more videos like this. Today we're going to look at another set of very old pipes. This set was probably made in 1860. It was made in Edinburgh, and it was made by Alexander Glen. Alexander Glen was born in 1801 and was making pipes by the early 1830s. To put him in context, his son would be David Glen, famous pipe maker and prolific music publisher. Alexander's brother was Thomas McBean Glen, also a great pipe maker. His sons John and Robert would go on to form the J&R Glen Pipe Making Company. J&R Glen and David Glen were running at the same time in Edinburgh in the late 1800s and early 1900s. So a lot was happening in the pipe making industry in Edinburgh for about 100 years. Alexander Glen was almost certainly influenced by Donald MacDonald, and while his earliest sets are quite stylized and usually mounted in bone, his later work takes on the more standardized appearance of a modern bagpipe. His pipes are made very much in the Edinburgh tradition, with narrow, delicate sticks, small, elegant mounts. All the Glens made in this style, as did Duncan MacDougall in his early years in Edinburgh. Alexander Glen died in 1873, and his son David took the company over at age 23, continuing to make pipes until his death in 1916. The company continued for some decades afterwards as well, remaining in Edinburgh at all times. I have here before me a set of Alexander Glen pipes made in ebony, mounted in what appears to be marine ivory. We're going to examine them, then we are going to hear them played by my good friend and colleague Matt McIsaac. Then we will chat with Matt about the pipes. But first, let's have a visual tour. This is the Alexander Glen set, probably made around 1860 or a little bit later. It is made out of ebony. The ivory appears to be marine ivory, walrus tusk, probably. Elephant ivory came into wide use much later. The set has a distinctly Edinburgh look. The sticks are narrow, the mounts are delicate and fine. The caps are flat across the top. The bells are pretty standard. The chord guides are quite wide. The wide chord guides are often associated with Duncan MacDougall because most of his pipes had wide chord guides like this, but I've also seen wide chord guides on thou pipes and on center pipes. So it's not unique to Duncan MacDougall. Here they are on Alex Glen pipes. As with other pipes of this vintage, the tuning pins tend to be a little shorter than today's. The ferrules have minimum ornamentation, small bead, and a couple of almost invisible scribe lines. The projecting mounts are very much Edinburgh, narrow, and the bottom bead here has a parrot's beak cut. The stalks are tapered, unlike a lot of stalks of this era, which are straight-sided. The chanter pitched below B flat with an extremely sharp high G. Interesting to try, not probably a chanter that you would play in this day and age, as modern reeds simply don't suit it. Now let's listen to this bagpipe being played under studio conditions. Matt McIsaac has graciously agreed to play the pipes for us, Matt is the director of piping at St. Andrew's College here in Aurora, Ontario, a school for boys grade 5 to 12. Matt is a tremendous player and has just about the finest ear for pipes of anyone I know. Here's Matt McIsaac playing a well-known 2/4 march on the Alexander Glen bagpipes. Thanks to Matt McIsaac for that tune, Donald McLean's Farewell to Oban, Archie McNeil's famous 2/4 march. Matt, this is the second vintage set of pipes you've played for me recently. This is a set of Alexander Glens, and they were quite different from the Donald McDonald set that we played recently. Similar appearance, but quite a different sound. How did you find them in terms of locking in and working well with your reeds?
Well, they locked in really fast. Not necessarily faster than the others, but it was a really easy set to tune right off the bat. The tender drones, though, were quite a bit flatter. I had to really shove the reeds right down and adjust them right up to the very end.
So they were tuning down about.
It was still flat, and it was lower than that. It was like, yeah, it was more like a bass drum.
Okay.
So after I adjusted the reeds, and it was much better. The sound of the tone of them is quite a bit quieter. There was a big difference between these and the Donald McDonald set. But still, like, such a steady, locked in, laser kind of focused sound.
So these are very much in the Edinburgh tradition of very delicate sticks and what is often referred to as a mellow sound, basically a fairly quiet sound, which we are perhaps not surprised to have come from Alexander Glen. Of course, his son David Glen, who made pipes from 1873 until 1912, was well known for having mellow or slightly quieter pipes. How was the chanter blend with these drones? Matt, did you find the sound, although it was perhaps not robust, did you find it an inspiring sound to play to?
I did, yeah. It was a bit different because I'm not used to quiet drones. My chanter is probably a little bit louder than you'd want for a set like this. Probably go really well with a smaller solo reed. But it was really nice to play just because it was so steady and so stable and dependable.
Yeah, I heard it lock in as soon as you started to play, and it pretty much stayed there the whole time. Seems like a very reliable and steady bagpipe.
Yeah.
And a quiet but rich tone.
For sure.
Very good.
Yeah.
Great, that's great. Thank you very much for your time on the
pleasure.
Bite Box, Matt, and I hope we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Jim.
That's our tour of a rare 19th century bagpipe. My thanks to Matt McIsaac for recording these pipes for us, as well as for recording the Donald McDonald set of pipes that are in another video on this channel. If you have a topic that you'd like to see addressed here, please email me at info@pipetunes.ca. From the Pipe Box, I'm Jim McGillivray. Please subscribe. Until next time, good piping.